All right, I'm back on the robe. I'm not going to spend too much time on it today because I'm almost done with it. Um, I'm doing what is this called? The greater primary coverts. That's the feathers above the main feathers, which are called the primary. So I'm just going to do a few of those, blend them in the best I can. These are long feathers up back here. When you start studying nature and how things are designed, it's not by accident. It's by design. I mean, you just come to that conclusion, and I don't know how anybody can think all this that we have in our world is all by pure accident. It isn't. That's just my personal opinion, of course. I know other people have different opinions. All right, let's get on with it today and see where we get to. Continuing on with the secondary feathers. And I hope when people look at this, they're not thinking she's got feathers sewn onto the robe. I hope they pick up the idea that I'm trying to show the spirit of the eagle coming through her prayer on the wind. Now these feathers here called, my eyes are not focusing, and the print is really bad. Aluzar quills. I don't know if that's correct pronunciation, but they're a group of feathers that come off the top of the outer edge of the wing, on the upper part of the wing, and then it turns into small little tiny feathers up here. I'm gonna take this only for a little bit here and then I'll blend it in with my wire tool. It's hard for me to talk and work at the same time. These primary feathers overlap the opposite direction. They overlap opposite of what they do on the underside. Whew. Okay. All right, this is where it gets delicate. I've got to put the texture in, but hopefully not destroy what I just created. I'm using a wire tool with a larger tooth on it. I go this way because the feathers overlap. This one is underneath this feather, and this one is underneath that feather, and so forth. So I've got to go in the opposite direction that I would normally go with my hand and tool. I need a light above it so I can see where the texture is. Yeah, that's getting a little too thick up there in the front. So I gotta thin that out a little bit. I don't want one part to stand out stronger than the other. That still stands out too strongly right there. This leading edge here. I want to take that down just a bit more. All right, I've got the arm to finish. She's wearing a sweater, which you can see is open and under the belt there. So I've got to make it look like a sweater on her arm. Just putting a wrinkle into the sweater. Gotta be careful. You don't want to make the wrinkle cut into the arm. Alright, I'm putting the texture into the sweater to match the texture I already put into the main body of the sweater. You don't want to dig too deep because you want to have it so they can clean it easily in bronze. I think I explained it yesterday about how the shell, the ceramic shell they put over the wax copy that they melt the wax out of, if there's deep crevices, they get leftover shell in those crevices, and if they don't get all the shell off of the bronze, when they put the color on the bronze, the patina with the acid, the shell doesn't take the acid, so it stands out as a white, bright white spot on the bronze in that crevice. And you don't want that. Yeah, I my nose. I got some little holes that just really are hard to fill. There we go. Sometimes it's almost as if the clay is fighting you. What I'm working on right now is impossible for me to show on camera, so you're gonna have to watch me work at it long distance, because I have to be real close and use my magnifiers to see what I'm doing. Very delicate work. I just wanted to show you the extremes that I go through sometimes when I'm off camera. Not everything I do is on camera. I tilt her up so I can look down on her face a little bit better. I could stand up and do this sort of thing, but my back hurts after I stand for a while. I need to get out and walk more. But that's a discussion for another day. Okay, I'm going to use some Roncinol lighter fluid to smooth out the face just a little bit. And the best kind of brush to use for this is a brush that an oil painter would use to paint with. Their bristles won't come loose as you're doing this. You don't want to have a loose bristle on your clay that will irritate you, and you try to get it off the clay and you can't. What this does is it melts the clay a little bit. There's something in the Roncinol that does that, and it works really good for taking down rough areas that you've built up as you work on the clay. I don't want it perfectly smooth, but I want it smoother than what it is right now. And you want the brush to be soft so that you're not digging into the clay. I'm just using a smaller brush to get in little areas. Alright, she's done. I mean, I've got probably a day's worth of work left on her to do if I got an order to cast it up in bronze. I will probably take some time off next week and take this to the foundry and get a bid on it so I can set a price on it and find out what things I need to change so that they can cast it more easily. But Prayer on the Wind is pretty close to being done. I don't know what I'm going to do next or when I'm going to do it, but I'm happy the way this turned out. And this is the photograph I came across that started this whole project. You can see that I took it, but I changed it. I don't like to copy exactly something. I like to make it mine. I'm happy with this. Prayer in the Wind. All right. Good night, everybody, and I'll see you next time. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. It really would help me. Also, check out the link below this video. It will take you to a review of my 9 instructional videos that could be very helpful to you if you're thinking of sculpting. Good night, everybody.